Welcome back to today's coverage of the FLCC 500 here on Maconi Entertainment. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Here's the situation. We've just passed the halfway point. The restart just a couple laps ago. Right now, Tucker leads the outside line. Vroman the inside line. Everybody can make it to the end on fuel in stage 2. And so far, it has been a race with a fair bit of efficiency popping up lately, but also a lot of leaders. Double-digit leaders here tonight. Wood the most laps led with 22. Hoytsma next up with 16. He is the second car on the inside groove. I'm Justin Prince, Marty Saccow, alongside Howie Burrows, our producer this evening from Daytona. And right now, so far it's been quite simple in this race, Marty. Try and find your way to the front. Try and get yourself in the conveyor belt. Go from there, it seems.
Yeah, this has been a race as well at the same time of, how does your car feel in clean air and how does your car feel in dirty air? Who are you working with well and who do you not want to work with at the moment? There are a lot of drivers that are working really well. There are some drivers that you're trying to make sure you don't want to work with. Here's a slingshot for the lead, Nicholas Vroman. This is a driver who suffered a pit road penalty carrying over from last week and made his way from a lap down to being out in the front. And right behind him, DeCiani.
Yeah, DeCiani, a decent pusher right now in the Fortis machine so far. Triple car tandem working, the quadruple car tandem. This is a package, mind you, when it comes to next-gen machines, where before there was the phrase, don't push the pusher. With this car, even with the recent updates, you've got to even push the third, the fourth, the fifth car involved to be able to carry the speed here and make sure your line goes faster. Remember one of the first experiences I had with this car, Marty, a couple of years ago with the next-gen car, people were screaming because I wasn't pushing the pusher.
Yeah, and this is something that guys like Heitman, like Hunter, Hoytsma, as well as what we saw with Sean Conklin earlier on in this race, who's now out of it. We're doing it earlier on with 3 cars on the outside, drafting together perfectly, and they made their way up into the top 3 spots.
Interesting night to say the least so far, as right now Vroman slams the door, tries to play the lines as they continue to battle it on out between the grooves. Now, chance for Bigfoot Chassis Collective to be able to get their name out there again. We've seen that team pop up last year. They were contending for the championship with Paul Hill, remember, in the championship 4, before officially making their launch essentially as a group for 2026. The team's focus for this year is to be able to develop talent, strive for improvement every single week consistently. Galata has brought Chad Sander. Keegan Sabilo, interestingly enough, has been brought in, along with Hill and a couple others, a part of that camp. And now they have Hill, with the help of Galata on the spotter stand, battling for this lead here in the 26.
I made a nice cut down through turns number 3 and 4 in the preferred line in the corners. Right on the bottom of that high side, the place to be. Big push from Heitman to help Tucker and Vroman. They cut down low, forcing Kalmacheski and Hill up top of the high side. Doesn't have the draft they need, but a big run coming from Hoytsma in that 97.
Yeah, that outside groove just carries so much more. 202 miles an hour, by the way. That's how much some of the speeds are picking up here. Interesting thing to think about here. We haven't touched much about the temperatures here tonight. It was a cool start time. 69 degrees Fahrenheit right now is where the sim is at the moment. The track temperature, in theory, as well, going to be fairly low. This car seems to be now with the higher speeds. That's because cooler track means higher pace.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to go there. The sun is starting to set for Daytona. The sim time, just about 10 minutes before the bottom of the virtual hour here. I'm looking at these onboards here at the moment. Not a big factor until they're putting a lap down here on camera, still in the 57. Not a huge factor at the moment, But out west lies turns 1 and 2. When the sun sets here in Daytona, that could be a factor with the glare in the eyes. You won't be able to see a lot. Visibility will be an issue late in this race.
Almost factoring in a little bit of that glare is coming up right now, in fact, along the front straightaway.
Yeah, but luckily, thank goodness, though, the stands of Daytona Rising that were done before the 2016 season really helps the drivers here a lot, so that glare is definitely reduced amongst the cars.
So we're coming up to what is going to be 21 to go on the stage. Another tight switch. Tucker, Vroman, and a couple others have been continuously going back and forth. Joining the fray for the conversation is one of the rookies, and it's a good driver to have. Dylan Basin, longtime runner on the platform, now at the Ryco camp. Expecting him to contend for some top 5s and 10s at the very minimum this season. That 84 has some experience with NASCAR organizations. Definitely a good driver to have behind the wheel.
Yeah, I've been talked a lot about Basin throughout this race. This is the guy that started back in 15th tonight. Thought about going for the lead, but now that high side, disorganized. Look at the run for this bottom group here. And working on some lap traffic too. I was looking at this back in the 6th spot. Could have gotten interesting with Hunter and Vroman, and this now brings up the question, could we see maybe a train like we saw earlier in the race before our first yellow flew?
Keep in mind, Basin is coming off a big win a couple days ago, in fact. Talking about the 84. Got the win in the NASCAR College iRacing Series, the Great Lakes Gauntlet, to start off week 1. And obviously, that was a wild race to say the very least, because there were no cautions in the heat races and in the NASCAR College race. But Basin was the one who got the edge from Pasco Hernando State College. And now today, looks to get himself a win on Super Speedway. Right now, everybody...
Oh, trouble!
Oh, trouble!
Big wreck! This is the big one. This is the big one.
The big one, indeed. This is at least 10, 15 cars just when you think deep breath, calm moment. Yet again, big moment.
It's a ticking time bomb that's always waiting to go off, and here we have it going into what has basically been Calamity Corner all night, and this is the risk you take when you go 3 wide. 4 wide, actually, just about. Look at that. That ruined everything.
3 different drivers. That's crazy. I've reached a disqualification moment. I think DeCiani left the race on his own. Wood, Zodiac are a part of the DQs for incident points already. Heitman with the meatball flag. Remember, as well, Conklin is done for the night from him leaving the session earlier from the last caution. So a lot of contenders are falling out of contention, Marty, as we're back in our yellow.
Yeah, they gave that penalty to one of the contenders, in fact, in this race, being the number 76 of Derek Heitman. But yeah, there were a lot of good cars involved in that wreck. I see Jason Taylor, I believe, was involved in it. Looking at other drivers, Derek Heitman, as I mentioned, he got the EOL in that. I think I saw like 10 cars go through turn 2 cleanly without any sort of damage in that wreck. Look at that. Everyone else behind them just got clobbered.
Kleiman might have been the match. Let's see. The 7. Keep an eye on him right about. Yeah, that is blending down 2 lanes.
Look at that. That may be a dozen, maybe 20 cars involved, possibly. one driver there dodging that.
Right there. Yep, not clear. That was Brown. That collected the only car a lap down, one lap down specifically left in that group in Cameron Stone. And everybody but Paul Hill and Tyler Hunter came down. Apparently Tucker even had something like 50 seconds of damage, he just said on the radio. A lot of people going to be down pit road for a while.
This is going to be interesting here with a lot of people going down pit road, because this makes it for a lot of those drivers that pitted, prevented that we don't really get in overtime, a one-stop race to the distance. Because remember, the window about 40 laps is a full fuel run here at Daytona International Speedway. We're on lap 114 with 85 laps to go. You subtract that by about 40, and, drivers are actually going to be playing with fire a little bit. But, luckily, we're going to want to be in that dirty air. These cautions going to help you out with the miles per gallon, potentially. So this could be a one-stop, maybe a two-stop race to the end, possibly.
It's worth noting, by the way, the damage I mentioned, Marty, that happened to one of your fastest drivers, Michael Tucker. It was not because of the incident. Right before that, this was an issue that popped up with Toyota front noses, it feels like, or rear ends, it seems, where it keeps in the back end if you're pushing for too long or too hard. Tucker got that in a Chevy, the first time we've seen that with the Chevy pop up this year since the new draft model. And that is a new car, remember, that Chevy body, brand new for 2026.
This is wild, too. I'm looking at all the pit times here. I'm seeing 11 drivers with pit stops under 30 seconds long. Everyone else had some sort of damage in that accident. It'd be better to tell you who wasn't involved in that crash here, Justin. Just look at the top 10 on your screen.
So, based on those times, these are the only drivers that had quick stops. Everybody else, including many of them still coming out of pit road, are like this. Paul Hill, Tyler Hunter, Paul Gallimore, Thomas Komacheski, Lucas Hoitzma, Sean O'Brien, Jonathan Delaney, Dylan Basin, Nicholas Vroman, Nicholas Isaacs were the only drivers that did not either come down pit road or have a stop that lasted more than 4 tires and fuel. Every single other car had to spend, except for 2 on those exception lists, more than a minute to fix their cars here. Attrition's getting extremely high all of a sudden, as that incident has at the very least taken out Heitman and DeCiani. Everybody else is still on the track. Some of them are still catching up to the field.
And this is gonna be testing a lot of drivers to see what's the damage look like, how much of a lead pack is going to be, how many different packs are we going to have when we come back to green. And then there's a lot of racing left to go here, Justin. 85 to go when we get the restart, and we're not even through stage 2. We've got 15 to go in this stage.
So let's find out how this goes with Paul Hill in control for the restart. And it gets interesting for some of the teams that have been very quiet, hoping for a lot of luck here with more cautions to fix their cars, such as Speed Solutions. We haven't much mentioned their team name really tonight for their conglomerate. All 3 of their cars now have damage to the back of the field. I think most of the Conti cars have picked up damage. Most of the Black Flag machines have picked up damage. At this point, most of the teams having to deal with some sort of issues. And we're not even at the end of stage 2. We have 15 more laps to go on the stage. We're backing away. Good start for Hill as the field works its way to 1 and 2. Look at how much the damage is impacting those in the back of the field. A lot of cars having issues getting up to speed.
Yeah, and they're going to need likely another. They're going to need the stage yellow because some of them may not even have fully repaired their cars. Or some of them may have damage that's not fixable the rest of this one. And the high side not even going, the low side getting the big draft here. Keep an eye on that high groove. Look who you got up there. Hunter in that 48, Hoytsma in the 97, JD Delaney in that number 6. Still some heavy hitters in this one.
Yeah, so they're having clean race cars. A few of those names you just mentioned at the very front of the field. Basin with the help of another Toyota. Tyler Hunter linking up well. Basin up to the point. 8+ years of sim racing experience from the 84. Now gets the lead here. And look at how slow the bottom is actually running. That is 5 miles an hour slower. That's why 5, 6 cars just about passed by, and now they form up the top 2 spots.
Yeah, big move as well. Hunter had the pole. Hoytsma and Delaney. And now underneath, Tyler Hunter back out in front, and this is a pack I'm seeing just about for right now 21, if not 20 cars at the moment. Everyone else all divided for the damage they suffered in that in the big one.
Right now, field works its way through. Hearing there was issues in the back of the pack that did not bring on a caution hearing because Hodgson and company had lost ground. Timothy Harper had a technical issue and blinked. However, the second pack was able to straighten it out. We stay green. Coming around to 12 to go as we see the field sort of steady out here. A lot of people looking to try for caution. Here's a look 60 seconds ago from Hudson. Watch the blink coming up for the 23.
Ooh. That's risky when you're bump drafting someone and you deal with that net code. Could have a car inside of another car and could lead to a big wreck. Well, back up near the front, they're double wide, and even with that big one, a third groove trying to be created by none other than Tucker in that 36, and this time he's got help from both Sean and Bobby Anderson.
Tucker having to find some new friends. He's controlled the front much of the way. No longer has the friendship. Nobody wants to get the third groove. Anderson's trying it on his own. That's not going to work. But look who's migrated up to the point to the outside again. Vroman is ready to go vroom again. So far tonight. Oh, that was a big block, Hunter.
Risky from Tyler there, but somehow found a way to make it work. Now with a low groove, half momentum, they won't. Hunter able to cut down in front of Gallimore, our stage 1 winner. Looking to sweep the stages here tonight.
And that was a little bit of a tight move there. Gary Venn and Hunter looking to play the lines to say the very least. Work their way through. Under 80 to go in the race. Under 10 to go in the stage. 2 by 2. We have 19 cars that have speed to be in the main pack here with clean-ish cars. And right now, that outside's just not building up the steam. Here comes Hoytsma, though, to carry some of it up to the outside.
A huge push he has. Half a car length between him and Vroman. Compared to Gallimore, bump drafting Hunter really well, allowing that 48 to remain out in front. Now Hunter trying to block both lanes, but Vroman all over 97 of Hoytsma. He should be able to get this momentum and look for this race lead.
Here they go through 1 and 2's exit. Will the 97 get it? Looks like the answer is yes. Hoytsma staying as far away from that side draft. That's so important to make sure they get the move. Roman thought about diving underneath. Hoytsma got blocked off. As here comes the run for the outside again. Hunter now has got it alongside the one of Dustin Hall with all the red cars. He's up in front with a clean nose now.
Wolf for Hoytsma got sideways with a bad bump from Roman off for 4. This allows the 95 to retake the lead. And now they'll shift back down to double file for now. We got 8 to go in stage 2.
Now the question will be, which driver gets the chance to take the green-white checker flag here? Easier said than done to pick, especially the way these runs have built up here. Now what do you do if you're some of these other cars here? Do you make the move? Do you just take the points? What are you expecting here from some of these cars here?
It's been a wild stage. Take the points. Don't need to risk anything. You want to be there to the end. This is one of the strategies that Jason Taylor had done earlier in this race, who's running in 21st. You don't need the points. You got to be in it where it matters most. The win, that's where it pays out the most. If you want the stage points, then go finish in the back in stage number 3, basically. Although that won't be the case with all the DNFs we've had so far early in this one. With we've lost, I think, 10 in this race.
That's about a quarter of your field from those who are able to keep track of math. Nearly a quarter, in fact. Von Henschel still in the race. Pearson is the last car running amongst those below the 30 mark. As right now, coming around, 5 to go next time. Outside, nothing is working right now. Isaacs just cannot get the speed. Near contact.
Oh,
there is contact. There goes the 2.
And Isaacs, bad neck code. And Isaacs got 2 for this one. Sean O'Brien takes a heavy rear end. And that could be, Justin, maybe it will be close to the end of stage 2. If not a one-lap shootout. And this looked like the same thing we saw that caused the last wreck. Isaacs just trying to slot in line and took a bump from behind.
Yeah, and another one joins the DQ list. It's wild because 17 is an official number from that we see in NIS. Apparently it's still not enough for some drivers. With the way tonight's gone, there's a look, there's the DQ. Doesn't matter. Still got phased through for O'Brien, who got mollywopped.
He probably got the most damage of all of that there, compared to Isaacs, who just basically got sent upstairs and booted out of Daytona. And so this is going to be interesting. And I'm hearing that this is not going to be the stage ending.
Not the stage. Not the stage.
Yeah, this is likely going to be a one-lap shootout, if not a two-lap shootout to the end. Pit road should open this time, then pit road for the lap cars, then the 1 to green. So I'm looking at here, Justin, a one-lap dash before the end of stage 2.
Yeah, curious here. Pit road should be this time, which would bring us to 4 to go. I'm thinking we get 2 laps, actually, because remember, this is a quick EL racetrack. Most of the NASCAR stock car tracks have moved to this quick EL format. Here's a question. Do you flip the stage to get to the front before the start of stage 3? Take a tiny hit on fuel mileage and take the stop now.
I think if I'm outside the top 10, like if I'm, or actually, you know what, maybe outside the top 15, if I don't have damage, it's a great idea to flip the stage, get the track position, restart as the leader with under 80 to go, or under 70 to go, rather.
We are expecting drivers, of course, to come down for damage repair. That's a given.
Yes.
Who flips it? Not the top 3, not the top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's expected.
Yeah, top 12 stay out here. O'Brien, Gator, Graves, the first 3 I saw come down pit road.
Basically, everyone who just came down were all damaged race cars, so nobody took a effective flip of the stage. Lucky dog is Cameron Stone, who will need to hurry if he wants to fix some of that right front fender here. So it's Vroom up front. It's Hoytsma second. It's Hunter, it's Gallimore, and Delaney your top 5. Komacheski, Hill, Basin, Hall, Marty your top 10. Why don't we take a quick step aside? More than 2 hours of racing in. And so far, it's been a wild one. You're watching coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge, the 2026 season opener. Welcome back, everyone, to Maconi Entertainment. More coverage of the FLCC 500 here from Daytona. One of the crown jewels of the schedule. Justin Prince, Marty Sakawa, Howie Burrows, our producer, as Nicholas Vroman controls the field. Hoytsma, Hunter, Gallimore, Delaney, Komacheski. Your top six. 2 to go in the stage here, Marty. This could get wild.
Yes, absolutely. So a green-white checkered with stage points on the line. So here's the situation. 12 drivers stayed out. Everyone on back, pitted. Some of those either going for damage repairs, others or maybe flipping the stage to try and get the track position and restart out in front to kick off the final stage. So 5 miles left in stage 2.
Pace car is off. 2-lap dash. Pit road will close here. Pit road closing up, and the race for stage 2 is on. Vroman with a good jump. Hunter gets clear. Does anybody cut up top? No. Right now, that bottom lane is getting itself fully up to speed. Look who's up in the top 5 coming up here. Dustin Hall. The coffee car has been quiet all night.
Wasn't he like 2 laps down early in this race, if not 1 lap down twice? Right place, right time. This is a guy that's taking advantage of dodging all those big accidents, including the big one. And you know what? He wants us all those 10 stage points as well at the same time. He's got a chance, especially of look who's behind him, that 97.
Hall's trying to get something going. It's not working on the high groove at all. 1 to go in the stage. Vroman, Hunter, Delaney, Hill are all lined up together. Outside starting to rebound a little bit, but you have to think somebody's going to steal this for the 95.
Absolutely. If I'm Vroman, though, just keep worrying about the bottom. If the 48 makes a move now, don't worry about it if it's later on. Then go for the block here, possibly. But I don't think Hunter or Delaney are going to make a move now. The 6th, oh, we got Vroman.
Look at that cut for the 95. He blocks both lanes. Delaney working with Anderson. 2 teammates trying to get something going. Coming up to the green-white checker. Vroman trying to block the top. Tower Hunter on the bottom. Side by side. And in the end, it is going to be Hunter by 12 1,000ths.
Yeah, so great finish there. Hunter with the door open on Vroman. And takes the 10 points. Gallimore will check who got the final point at the end there. There you see it, Tanner Marty.
Yeah, so it's Hunter, Vroman, Hill in the top 3, Delaney, Anderson, Hall, Hoytsma, Graves got back in the top 10. Gallimore and Marty again gets a point. So the LRP machine at Tanner Marty has been very quiet. Now, the drivers get themselves sorted out for pit stops here. EPI's Tower Hunter gets themselves the edge, and they are going to have to wait for a bit for the pace car.
Now this could give here as we get set here, now that we're in race mode to the end. This could give Casey Graves the race lead unless he has to pit. Graves finished in the top 10 in the points. This should give Graves and Marty the front row for this restart if we expect them to stay out and just flip this stage. Actually, check that, not Graves and Marty. Graves and Kleinman.
So, remember, drivers involved in the damage situation. Already topped off previously. Might see them coming again or more. Everybody else will come down for their scheduled service. And here they go for the pit party. Interesting enough, Graves, who took a normal set of pit stops during the previous caution, stays out here with Jeremy Brown also joining him.
So Graves going to gamble here. And with the way we're looking at this, this is basically a one-stop race to the end no matter what. Graves and Brown would be the first to pit on around lap 166 with 35 laps to go. The rest would come in with 25 to go, I believe, if I'm doing my math correct.
So either way, it's a one-stopper to the end. That's the simple part. As Froman did win the race off pit road there, by the way. Overhaul and Kleinman, interesting enough, took a fuel only. So now, this is where you get to the meat and potatoes of the race. This is where the big points come into play. If you want to win the championship, you better do well by this stage.
Yeah, I think that we could expect some drivers that have stayed patient throughout the night and haven't made their way up near the front. I told you about Taylor earlier on. He was leading early in this race. In the final laps of stage 1, dropped back. He didn't like. I don't think he really liked what he was seeing in the pack, so he fell all the way down the leaderboard. We haven't seen him up in the top 10, I don't believe, ever since. I believe he may have been involved in the accident, the big one we had too, because he's still on pit road with over a minute of pit stop time at the moment. So that could be the case. I'm seeing right now on my end, and amongst the drivers that pitted all the way up to 15th with a normal pit stop. Everyone on behind them, from Tanner Marty, Alex Coffey, Cameron Stone, etc., all pitting likely for damage repair here too. But I'm seeing nope.
Yep. Looks like a few drivers in the back of the field just finishing up their service now. But up front, Casey Graves, one of the rookies that looks strong in the duels. He's ready with a vengeance, and he's bringing Jeremy Brown with him alongside for the restart. That is driver with a black flag sticker on it for Graves, by the way. Interesting enough, don't believe, well, check that. He is one of the drivers that is working on the comms with them. First time we've seen his black flag machine get the chance to lead. And same can be 7007 up the front when it comes to the Elite Motorsports entry. Respect is earned. This is where they gotta have to build it up here. And
is that for this restart? Go ahead.
I was about to say, as they get ready here, a lot of upset names, as in potential upsets compared to the big names coming in here, Marty. This could be an underdog start to the season.
Yeah, it's obviously super speedway. Everyone has a shot to win. You know, when you think of it too, these first 2 weeks, anyone has a shot to win, because remember what's happening next week. We're heading to Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's been a super speedway in the last couple of seasons. Who knows what's going to happen in that race too.
Coming up to 67 laps to go. And now it's Toyota, Chevy, 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 Toyota, Chevy, Toyota. Once we the top cars. In other words, if you're Chevy, you're likely towards the front. A lot of the different manufacturers have taken a beating today.
Yeah, it looks like the Xfinity Series all over again, where every manufacturer in the top 20 was a Chevy. So here we go, as Graves holding serve early.
Well, that inside line's not really going as much as you'd think, though. Graves is having a hard time getting up to speed. Even with the pushers, it's Brown to the point.
It all depends as well at the same time, too, on how you're shifting. And I think, though, Brown just got forced out of the groove by Dustin Hall. Wide to lead its first lap of the day, and right behind him, the Stage 2 winner, Tyler Hunter. And Anderson, Bobby Anderson, able to cut down as well.
Hall, one of the Conti crew chiefs, now gets the lead. Up and down last year, to say the very least. Today, coming out from an up and down start of the day, gets to suck up all the laps up in front. Remember, took the quick stop of 8 seconds to keep the track position. Now looking to prove he can maintain it, although some of the big names are trying to that outside work again. Froman working hard to pull back that 01 machine. We know the 95 has been a very good car. Chance to have constant control the inside and outside here.
About this too, Justin. We've got 2 drivers in the top 10 They were a lap down in this race earlier on. Vroman the most notable after serving the penalty. Dustin Hall was one out in the back. And now they've got a chance to win this race. A lot of racing, though, left to go. 65 of the line.
You know how up and down last season was for Hall? He only had one time the entire season he had been in the top 10. 5 times out of 21 starts, he was in the top 15. He was less than 50% for a top 20 rate. For Hall, a race with a good finish up at the front, just what the doctor ordered here, that would be the understatement of the day here, knowing how much he puts in work-wise in the setups.
Yeah, the time, the work ethic, the time, the commitment absolutely would pay off. Here's a run again from Vroman for that race lead. Just look how the bump drafting is working for the 95, the 97, and Komaszewski, the 88. And they're trying to get a gap here as well on Hall in the 1.
Yeah, able to take the lead as they get things sorted. Most of the drivers are off the top groove, so it looks like we're playing the patience game for the most part. Outside of Hastings, Tanner Marty, really competitive car, is pushing 29 as well. The crazy thing when it comes to Tanner, by the way, of the season, Marty, is your namesake, quite simply, does a good job getting to the right spot at the end. There's a lot of drivers that don't necessarily run top 10 the entire way, but just find their way to gravitate into the top 10. The 29 car, second on the outside, is one of those I throw in the mix of. He knows how to just get to the end of the race in a good spot lone run.
That strategy always at Daytona. You don't want to be in those packs early in the races unless you're feeling aggressive. Wind the bonus points for leading the laps in some series if they put that in place, or have the stage points like we do. I always like the patient game. It's not all about leading laps. It's about getting to that finish line first and having a great day out of it. That high side just got stacked up an accordion. The 11 car of Gallimore lost his footing. 3 wide, and I think now it's time to play a little game of chess. Patience is underway.
Just what it says. Let's line up in the single file. It's time to go back into the classroom, everybody. What,
all right,
you didn't line up and going back to school?
Who's moving the pawns where? Oh, this, Justin, I haven't mentioned this. I mentioned this a little bit like early on in the race, but I haven't mentioned it in a while. 3 drivers in the top 10, up at least 20 spots. They're in 3rd through 5th. Komaszewski, our biggest mover, up 31. Second biggest, Dustin Hall, up 29. And our 4th biggest mover, Tyler Hunter, up 23 in 5th.
And not bad at all in terms of their charge. You see those bigger movers? Indeed. And this is one of those tracks where you'll see that be commonplace. It just is the nature of, in a lot of cases, you can bounce back from a poor qualifying effort if you know how to drive and follow the lanes. Right now, this choo-choo train, 60 to go coming up. It's remaining all the ever patient, a fuel-save train for miles.
Keep in mind, 1-stop race to the end. A majority of the drivers will pit with 30 to go. 2 drivers like Brown and Graves, who stayed out under the stage, will have to pit first with about 35 to go. And they're in 7th and 8th at the moment. And I think they're in this situation where they really want a yellow flag because they're going to be the ones to pit first. They'll be the only ones pitting under that sit unless they have teammates to help them out. But if they're the only 2, then they'll be in trouble because they won't have a lot of speed compared to this choo-choo train.
Indeed. So as they continue to work things out here, one of the drivers that's also up in the front now with this, to talk about some of the storylines, Bobby Anderson. Started up on the pole today. He hasn't really gotten the chance to lead, though. In fact, the 5 has led 0 laps today, Marty. The league owner, competitive all last season for some top 10s. Today, not been a factor in this race yet. He's been one of the few, though, to keep the car clean.
Yeah, Anderson has had, I think he's had a strategy a lot similar to Tanner Marty tonight, where you want to make sure you're up front at the right time to get these stage points. I think he's trying to get up front at the right time now for the race points. When they're dealt at the completion of lap 200. Good spot he's in currently in the 6th spot after winning the pole for this race last week. Now we'll see how things go.
Could be a good day for the 5 to start the season. You know he's got the ability. It's just a matter of finding his way to have the luck. And that's one of the big things with the FLCC 500. To be able to survive in the chaos. Look how hard they're pushing. Right now, it's the best you can do. We know that 95's going to, if he doesn't have any swaps here, going to have to pit before everybody else long term.
Absolutely.
But some of these areas, like Hoytman is saying, go ahead, I'll just keep you pushing, burn up your fuel.
Yes, absolutely. Hoytsma doesn't have to be 100% all the time here. Same with Komacheski. So in this case here, it may be if Graves and Brown do have to pit first, it may be smart for Roman to join them two at the same time. That way he can pit with both of them, and it could help them possibly out speed-wise. But I mean, it could be like probably like a half mile, 1.5 mile difference at the same time. That would be a risk still to Hoytsma too, because he would then take the lead away, and then he would basically be the sitting duck when it came to green flag pit stops if that's the case. The window opens in about 15 laps from now or so. Make those final stops, but you want to make sure you have enough room in the tank because of overtime, and that's likely at Daytona. It's been a situation in all the races minus one duel during speed weeks this week.
So as they go here, still about 10, 15 laps away from the opening of the fuel run, for the green light on fuel, I should say, to be able to make the end. So what's the conversation like if you're on the team radios here? We know some of the camps here. Is it just dead silent? What would you be talking about?
I would be talking about setting up the money stop here. You're figuring out what lap you're going to come in with your teammates. You don't obviously want to be paying alone, or else you'll lose the draft, and chances are highly likely that you'll go a lap down. I'm talking about it with them. If I have a teammate in front or behind me, just make sure you give your teammate plenty of room so you don't get in the back of them and cost one or both of you a chance at winning the FLCC 500. If I'm talking about that, you're talking about it now. If it's too early to talk about it, there's probably birds chirping on the radio.
Birds?
Let's say, I know those aren't birds, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, those definitely are not birds.
You could go with Tweety birds too. Now look, if it was Howie's time zone, it would be roosters.
For reference, our producer's time is 3:34 a.m. right now.
Yes.
I have to remember a couple of the drivers in this series have those time variances to think about. In terms of the regions this season, most are in USA or Canada. Stephen Williams was one of the drivers from the Australian time zone. Same for Neil Pearson. So a couple drivers technically have a massive amount of time difference for a series like this, week in and week out. And as they go, we'll see how the drivers fare out with the fatigue as we continue to zip through. Take a look at some of the errors you were saying.
Yeah, I think even with the fatigue right now, being nearly 3/4 of the way through with how this race has gone, I think they're all glad that the 27 drivers we have all on the lead lap are in this train here at the moment, just playing it patient, don't want to do anything dumb that will possibly lead to them losing some time of the pack or even take them out of the race.
Seen a few gaps pop up here in the packs, by the way. One of the stealth cars, Rich Kleinman, is one of the few that is leaving a lot of big gaps here. And is there a concern if you leave too much of a gap in terms of your fuel economy here in this pack?
And that's a good question. I would say not really. It really affects them. Just you don't want to be lifting too much, though. You don't want to leave too much of a gap because or else you'll lose the pack. It'll come too different. You'll just lose a lot of track time along with all the drivers behind you.
So we're about, for those keeping track, for everyone except a couple cars, 18 laps into the fuel stints. The FLCC 500 last year, for reference. Came to that race, looking back at the statistical record. Remember, it was Gitter who got the win in that one. Dual winners were Miller and Benefiel. Shows how much a season could change a lot. Gitter led 71 laps that day, course of the run, and had by far the highest driver rating with 127. Drivers like Derek Heitman had to make more than 100 passes on the day alone. And that was with a race that an elite pack had just about 10 cars in it, of which 2 had a good chance with Gitter and Hall, separated by 54 one-thousandths of a second. And what was a minimal caution affair, only 4 cautions for incident. A lot of those names today are not in the conversation. Christopher Hill, not here today. Paul Hill, one of the drivers who ran up at the front here today. Keep an eye on him if he charges up later. He's in 10. Matt DiCiani, out. Derek Heitman, out. Lucas Weitzman, in the innings all day. He was 6th last year. Komacheski, currently 3rd. Billy Brickley, not here to start the season. Mesnard, not here to start the season. Matthew Long, not here to start the season. So there's a lot of real estate available for new names in this top 10 to start the season with a bang.
It's for them to pick up points without question, but those drivers, some of them may be contenders throughout the season that aren't there. It could be a big risk for them, maybe not even making it into the top 16. I know how many drivers are going to be dedicated to running this every Saturday night at 8:30. Now, yes, conflicts do happen, obviously. iRacing isn't the highest priority, but you do want to make a huge commitment to this series to be championship eligible. And if you do to every single week, it could provide a huge bonus for you.
It'll be interesting who's the driver who wins that Super Speedway Championship this season, because out of the drivers that are up at the front, the names of Hoytsma, Komacheski, Delaney have been some of the bigger threats yet again tonight. Delaney's running in the back. Hoytsma and Komacheski are up in front. The other names, like, going to take a big hit for that. You only have 7 races essentially in that race for the Super Speedway Championship, because you also have Michigan, that was a part of last year's slate, for that title fight. It's going to be interesting who ends up picking up the prize money as the best super speedway racer this campaign, to say the very least.
And I think it's great that Full Length Cup Challenge does a super speedway series too, just like they did last year to crown a champion in a mini series, because super speedway racing, these drafting tracks, are its completely own animal. A complete difference compared to racing on an intermediate like Kansas or Chicagoland, a short track like Bristol or Martinsville, a road course like Watkins Glen or Circuit of the Americas. Super speedway racing is the place where a lot more people have a chance at winning, and it really shows you who is the best, who is the master at drafting at these super speedways.
And there is the money factor that comes into, you have to think, for the whole season as well. Why to start off with a bang to have a chance for your championship, because they increased the drivers' championship prize pool. You know how big it is this year? It was about $1,000 last year. It's $2,500
That's
in
insane.
2026.
That's, I think, what is that, 150% increase from last year?
Yeah.
If I'm doing my percentages right, if I'm doing the Steiner math right, yeah, very impressive what the Cup Challenge has provided. This is going to be a big year for this series. I can just feel it, and we're excited to bring you the coverage every Saturday night once again.
Don't forget, teamwork makes the championship work for them too. And that makes all the dynamics interesting because remember, the RHM machines were their own team. Now they're under the fold for Black Flag. That's still up in the air on how that's going to get sorted because, from my understanding, they're using Ryko power plants for the start of the season. A couple of the drivers that were originally a part of the Precision Speed Solutions Alliance essentially are working tonight and have been working with them this evening that are essentially now free agents for the team championship. So there's so many different moving parts just with a lot of those changes that happened coming into tonight in the first place, too.
And heck, some may be working with other teams just for tonight to master a plan just so they can work together and make sure that they all find their way into victory lane this evening. Who knows what this strategy is going to be like until we hear from these drivers at the end tonight.
Tell you this though, green light for fuel to be almost about now, if not the coming laps.
Yeah, so the windows will open with about 5 laps from now, but keep in mind you want to save some room in the tank for overtime if we have it. So I would say officially it would open around lap 165. That's when we should expect Jeremy Brown and Casey Graves, who stayed out underneath the stage caution, flipping that stage so they would have the track position in 7th and 8th. Everyone else, they've got 5 extra laps of fuel they can work with. And we have, the last time we saw green flag pit stops was from a handful of drivers too, Justin, before we had our first yellow of the race this evening.
Big point to mention when it comes to tonight for that. Remember, this happened in the duels too. Some of the drivers were caught off guard, but the new location of the pit code, for those who missed last week, with the updates that happened with iRacing, the Daytona pit code actually got moved forward or closer to the racing surface by an extra few feet. A lot of people were caught speeding from that.
I'm
Just
hearing
heard a call on the radio.
Yes, Sean O'Brien in the back, going to make a stop next lap, I believe. So he's currently back in the 26th position. It's very, very risky. He's going to have to hope that someone in front of him is making a pit stop here too. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, but the big point was about to say, if you're having a pit party, you've had one green flag stop the entire night for only a couple cars here.
Yes.
This is going to be calamity corner because if you haven't practiced with this car, you better figure it out quickly because there are going to be a lot of speeding penalties with that cone.
I expect a lot of lockups too coming on the pit road, especially with the money stops. So let's see here. Sean O'Brien Jr. not coming in this time. He radioed he was going to be coming in. Maybe it's just a couple laps from now. So we're on lap 160. If we don't go to overtime, the window is open for anyone that wants to make that final stop.
And remember, for these drivers, the thought isn't going to be a 4-tire stop if you want to win the race here. It has to be a 2-tire stop to save the time. Expect as well. Here's another thing to think about too. Depending on how much fuel you put in, you're looking at maybe not even two cans, like a can and a half. You're talking maybe 15-ish gallons gets you to the end, maybe less. That is going to something you have to factor in and make sure with your teammates you get down to the amount of gallons to get this to work.
Absolutely. I think 1.5 cans is the smart play here. Works with 2 tires combined. That's the perfect pit strategy. You just cannot choke it on your entry, and you just can't go through too many pit boxes here at the same time. Now remember, keep in mind, Roman has been leading, the last 20, 30 laps or so? 20, 25 laps of this race right now at the moment. He's been using the throttle. He has used more fuel compared to guys like Hoytsma, Kolmashevsky, Hall, even drivers outside the top 5. Nobody pitting in. I saw one driver lurk below the yellow line, being Basin in 14th as they figure out if he was going to come in or not. But nope, everyone still playing chess and cat and mouse.
So it's not going to be a move taken out of the PGR book, it looks like, from the field. They're going to keep it simple. Trying to run this dry seems to be the play.
Delaney just radioed, when are we pitting?
Yeah, I mean, he needs friends to pit with. Do you blame him for asking?
No one's going to respond either. And I mean, do you blame anyone for not responding? No, you're all in a team chat, all figuring it out together. You figure out that decision.
Yeah, right now the black flag machines, for whatever reason, are trying to openly talk about the pit stop. The funny thing is, when I was with Legacy at one point, Marty, when it comes to that, I called pit road one time with them. They said, "Why'd you do that? Now everyone's going to come with us." Because the plan was apparently try and have that smaller pack to go faster, gain time on everybody else. Yeah,
you said this was Legacy. When was this? And was this one of those NASCAR races?
This was years ago now, 2019, 20-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, Vroman figuring this out too at the same time, because he's going to have to pit a couple laps before a majority of the field pit. So under 40 laps to go, still no takers. I'm keeping a close eye, though, still. And Brown and Graves should expect them in about 3 to 5 laps from now in the 7th and 8th positions.
Yeah, this driver's slowly taking the time away here. 48 laps led now for Vroman in this race. That is the most by far. Led a majority of those laps here in this third stage. It's too early to pick out favorites now out of this pack. It depends on what happens after the pit stop. 36 to go. And keep in mind, 27 lead lap cars all in this group. Every single car in this race is in this choo-choo train. Nobody lost the pack this run, which is astounding.
Give credit to a lot of the drivers were able to fix up their cars underneath the stage yellow, stay on the lead lap. Very impressive, even with all the cautions we've had, including the big one in our last natural caution, that we still have 28 drivers left in this race, or 27 drivers, I should say, left on the lead lap, and 29 drivers on track. Yeah, only one pack here too, Justin. Nobody else is out of this. This is an entire 29-car choo-choo train. Everyone else on back out of this race.
That's going to change after pit stops, though, we know.
Absolutely.
All it takes is one car not able to get up to speed, and you end up having to split in the pack.
Keep an eye on as well here, Justin. The man in the number 62. He's currently about 20th in this line, Neil Pearson. He's the first car a lap down. If he gets a yellow, he's back in this race, would be the lucky dog.
All he has to do, I think there were some drivers pushing hard at the back, I think you're referring to.
Yes, absolutely. I heard Kleinman saying on the radio, I think he's trying to push things here. Window is open. Have that extra fuel for overtime just in case. No one, I think everyone's going until the last drop here, Justin.
And right now, Brown and Graves are at the 40-lap mark.
Yep.
But with the big laps, going to be further by a couple laps. They're expected to open the pit party. And this is the play that allows them to try and pit with a smaller group, see if they can get up to speed, jump ahead of the others. 48
pit stops
coming in.
48, I did not expect him to lead things off here. A lap 131, here we go. And Hoytsma bringing everybody in. Who's going to come in hot?
No issues. Everybody slides
All looking
through.
Good.
Delaney just missed his pit stall. the reigning king of the super speedway, just had issues. Everybody else scatters to get in. Also a missed stall for Gitter as everyone tries to take their service. 12 seconds, Komacheski.
So now it's 8 drivers that we're waiting to see from here. It's Roman and Hall working together, and so we should expect these next pair of 8 drivers in the next lap or two here for pit stops. First one out, though, Michael Tucker in that 36. Fuel only from the 36. Everyone behind looking to do 2, if not 4, and here come the rest. Look out, the 81 makes contact with the 7, and around goes the 7. Big contact, and someone got DQ'd. Pair of drivers here, Murray and Hastings, out of this.
So a crash on pit road takes care of the stack up with the DQs, but takes out 2 of the drivers that are trying to recover from situations today. Big send up the inside of the first place. Right here. Murray just gets clipped at the last moment. He's going to be mad.
All right, now we're keeping an eye on Tucker here. He's coming out of turn number 4 right now. Dustin Hall and Vroman Bazin all just exited the exit line here. So this should be Tucker with the lead, but now 5 drivers have merged together and stacking up. In turn 1, where's Dustin Hall? He's off at turn number 2. Hall may get the lead here, but he won't have the horsepower compared to the 36 on back. Look at this.
Yeah, this second group got destroyed with the gaps. Here comes Tucker. Tucker calls for the cut up. Tries to control the pack like an airline instructor. Going right by Hall. Vroman in the group, Basin in the group. So it's now the 36 back up in front. 31 laps to go. The main pack only 8 cars deep, but the second group is almost in drafting distance to stay connected. The only cars that lost the draft are Coffey, Kleiman, along with the 14 and the 60.
Now, something to keep in mind here too, Justin, that is an 8-car freight train in the first group. There is a peloton group further back, about 12 cars. It's like kind of like the Tour de France sort of things, but with more cars in this pack, will this give them the slight advantage is what we were wondering. Behind them, you only have 5 cars that's led by Jason, by the 34, I should say, correction, of Ryan Von Henschel. Behind them, it's Blake Clutre, then Jason Taylor on back. They're going to need a yellow flag if they want a chance to get back in this race. Don't say done yet for Paul Gallimore on back. They're a second behind on Dylan Basin, and they're matching the pace of the top 8 as we speak.
We just had a black flag. Car 7, Rich Kleinman, has been given a black flag. That was involving the incident previous. That's one of the drivers that was in the backpack losing touch. Remember, he's had the spin around with the contact. So the 7, his chances are officially up in flames. Interesting enough, though, a 10th quicker for the main group. The peloton group cannot close the gap. They have too many cars.
Yeah, the gap is staying the same, no question about it. And you don't want to go double file one bit or else you're just going to lose a ton of time. The key here, if you try to close up gap, you got to have no gaps, and you got to be smooth with the steering inputs. You can't be jockeying around. You can't have all these gaps like we're seeing between Gallimore and Hill and Harper. You got to find a way to have a constant bump draft while at the same time making sure you're not overheating that engine where you could have your chances basically explode on you.
Do you switch the lead car to try something different here, or are you just hoping that the BMP machine can just get some sort of whiff of a draft? The front straightaway is great for them. It's the backstretch that's killing them.
Absolutely. You know, I like Gallimore here up in the front. He's done a good job with the clean air throughout the day, but I think it's all about who is the better pusher at the moment. Paul Hill, we don't know about. Bobby Anderson, not too bad, for example. Keep your eye on, though, if they decide to do anything maybe with Delaney. He's stuck back here in the 18th position. I'm not sure if that's the smart play here or not. Look at that gap. It's increased. 1.2. Now it's down to 1.1 again.
Again, trimming down. And right now, some of the drivers are shouting, we've got to close at this point. We've got to find a way to close it. I think they have now gotten in range to do it. There it goes.
Yes, they're starting to get the toe here of 8th place Dylan Basin, and it's down to 0.6 of a second. Expect fast laps from everyone up here. Don't be surprised if maybe Gallimore gets the fastest lap of the race here.
So the entire second pack is cheering over the radio. Gallimore
just went woohoo.
Yep. Gallimore's closed it.
Here
right
we go.
in the group. 26 to go.
Instead of 8 drivers, we now have 19 drivers with a chance to win the FLCC 500. Guess what? We just called it, Justin. Paul Gallimore, quickest lap of the race, 44.85. First move to the outside. Roman in the 95 with a push from Basin in the 84. It's smart, but it's risky at the same time to show the nose, show your hand early.
Yeah, but he wants to lead. We know that from likes to lead up front.
Yeah, Gallimore and Hill gave a big push. The 48 of Hunter saw it. He wants to go at it. Roman a little sideways. Great save from him.
The EPI car of Hunter gets something going now with the push from Vroom. Push coming up from Basin, Gallimore, and Hill all hooked up together. Under 25 laps to go. Tucker stays to the bottom. Look at the third groove. Delaney doing stuff on his own.
No one's going to go with them here. It's too risky right now with 25 to go, trying to win this race. Everyone wants to keep it 2 grooves, but look at this. More lap traffic with Kleinman. Now keep an eye if Kleinman gets back in this draft or not, because Pearson, still the lead lap car after they put Gitter a lap down. 62 gets past with no issues. Oh, look at this though. Martin out of the groove.
Rewind. Huge checkup outside. Hunter loses his
48.
Trouble. There they go.
Involved. A third car, the 97 of Hoytsma. Stone DQ'd. Nope, correction, it was Hodgson.
So we are under caution as the 48 and the 5 make contact in the tri-oval. Lucas Hoytsma also got collected, the defending series champion.
That's a hard crash as well for the 48. One of the faster cars in this one. Buckle up now, folks. This race just got a lot more intense. Right there off the 5 of Anderson.
Stone did not get the DQ, by the way, but I believe
It was
he's close.
Hodgson.
So, caution, everybody can make it on gas. Now, it comes who makes the right chess moves yet again. And right now it's Roman, Basin, Gallimore, Hill, Tucker amongst your top 5. Could be any of those drivers here in this field, because we've seen Tucker lead 27, we've seen Roman lead 55. The only driver in the top 5 yet to lead is Basin here.
Yeah, Basin has been playing that patient game, trying to get up here when it's right. So, let's talk about the drivers left in this to win. Gonna have 23 drivers on the lead lap. Neil Pearson gets the gift he wanted. Gets the free pass and will restart tail end of the lead lap. Other drivers that were in the back, O'Brien, Brown, Tanner Marty. The 54 results from the back too. Alex Coffey, Taylor as well. They're all going to be back in this race with a chance to win.
And remember, with some of the mileage some of the drivers just took there to gain the track position, going to be close for some of them. You see Tucker, at the very least, saving on the access road. We'll see if anybody ducks down this time. And I'd be shocked if anyone did.
Yeah, no, you're not. Ooh, you know what? You are going to see some takers here. I think this is just to top off on fuel just in case this goes a long way. Or they're thinking, you know what, the big wreck may happen in front of the pack. They're trying to find a way to dodge it, but that's way too risky at the same time.
So, we have Coffee amongst those down there. Stone, Hutchinson, a few of the others that had picked up some damage over the course of the race. Your lucky dog, this caution did go to Pearson in the black flag camp. So he'll be still on the lead lap. But one of the drivers we speak to a lot when it comes to these races is going to be in control here coming up as we get to the closing stages. Nicholas Vroman's led the most laps tonight. Vrum, how's it feeling in that car right now in what has been a battle zone tonight?
It's feeling good, man. Car's clean, miraculously, so can't complain. But yeah, 20 laps to change that, I guess.
So how difficult has it been to get some of these runs built up, especially since you've been separated from a lot of your teammates tonight?
You know, I feel like everyone's been working kind of well together. You know, Basin's been working well with me, and a few other guys. So I feel like my main focus right now is just don't get stuck on the bottom. I do not want to get stuck on the bottom. So yeah, I'm probably going to try and hang out in the middle here more times than not. But yeah.
So it's pretty clear where the move is going to probably come from you here. How difficult will it be to set up to get that middle line rolling here, knowing how hardy some of those cuts were, especially when the aggression was high at the end of stage 2?
It's, I don't know, man. We're just going to see what happens. I'm going to make the block.
Keep it simple. All right. Good luck. Nicholas Roman, keeping it simple, trying to keep things close to the chest there, Marty. He'll come up to 21 laps to go.
I mean, I wouldn't say at this point in the race it's time to mirror drive, but once we get, like, you know, under 10 to go or so, I mean, you're focused on the spotter, but you're going to be driving out the mirror more too. More and more each lap.
And we're going to have Roman and Basin on the front row. Then Hall and Hill. Hill's on the bottom, Hall on the top. Graves and Anderson, Martin, Delaney, Hoytsma, and Brown are amongst your top 10 for a late race restart. Coming at 20 to go. That feels like an eternity with the way this race could play out tonight. There are right now 18 cars grouped up with the leaders. A couple of them are still catching up to the pace car to make it over 20 ready to start.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty wild. 20 laps are going to remain, 50 miles. Show what you got. And a chance to win the FLCC 500.
Who do you think's going to get it?
It's so tough to tell with 20 laps to go. I mean, amongst the top 10, the two best cars in the field right now, Nicholas Vroman and Lucas Hoytsma, in my opinion. But it's just everyone of the 23 on the lead lap, they've got a chance to win it. It's just so tough to tell. You won't know who's going to win it until who's got the best chance to win until you get off of turn 4, unless they're side by side.
Roman ready to get the launch here. Has a teammate behind him at least. Shows the top. And now, see if they get to clear together. Pace car already off, green flag in hand. 20 laps to go for the FLCC 500. Roman does get the jump he needed with Hall. Now, how quickly do they drop? Immediately, Hall just about cut off the 84.
By the top 2. Cut down on the ball so we can work with Vroman at the same time. But let's see if the high side is able to get to work. There's the move up. And Hall trying to go for the lead here.
Here they go. Side by side, the inside line's working. The Conti cars control the front. Hill clears on by for the outside. Now, will he take the chance? Yes, he will. Here comes the Bigfoot machine. Hill takes the race lead away from Hall, and the back and forth continues. 19 laps to decide the right move.
The field is in two grooves at the moment. Would not be surprised if someone said it's go time with the third groove. Either Hoitzman at 97, or maybe even Tyler Hunter in that 48, which, let's remember, this was the guy that went head on in the wall last caution flag, and somehow he's up near the front with this lead pack still.
That's how many cautions some of the drivers have gone in to fix the damage here in this one. As now, Basin continues to work. Purple and pink car to purple and pink car. Basin saying he's overheating. Does get the clearance. Got the help.
Roman's going to help him out here. Cut down in front of Paul Hill, allowing the 84 to get some clean air in that grill. And that help coming too from the 01 of Casey Graves. But pushing to get more aggressive here at the same time. You could be risking cooking the engine here, but you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get yourself blown up at this point in the race. No tape on the car, remember, but you can definitely seal up the motor with the whole front bumper for 3 consecutive laps before you pop. Now that the air's cooled down to 84, outside groove, Roman covers it off yet again. He, remember, does not want to get stuck on the bottom here. He's making it clear if the run at all is coming up top, he's taking it.
At the same time, though, he doesn't want to be blocking too much and get caught up in the middle. Now the run's coming to the bottom here with the slingshot up from Graves. The risky cut off. 3 wide for the lead.
That was not the greatest move at that moment. Marty tries to help him 3 wide. Now the question was, will the middle get pulled back? Basin's trying to break away from the side draft. And just got side drafted. Right there, the 95 got to the quarter panel, pulls back the middle, and now Vroman still makes the outside work. 5 cars up top. Now down goes to the middle. Here comes Hill.
Look how quick that became 3 wide in an instant. Tanner Marty now leading the top, and with the push from Gallimore and the 54 of Alex Coffey. Oh no, there they go.
Caution flag is out. Into the wall goes Coffey. Delaney gets collected. Hunter again. Slam for O'Brien Jr. And this brings us under caution with less than 15 to go at the stripe. And some of the fast cars like Gallimore and Hunter, who are up front, are no longer going to have a shot.
Keeping an eye here. I don't know if there's going to be a free pass because Gitter was the first car a lap down. And he made contact with the 54 of Alex Coffey. Look how quick this went to go 3 wide here.
Yeah, this just got ugly quick with Timothy Harper. Just got stacked up in that. He was trying to move up after being involved earlier on in incidents. And a lot of the drivers that were in the just trying to stay out of trouble group just found it. Here's 29.
Drafting was starting to get a little bit risky here. Bad bump into turn number 1 that Tanner takes. A bunch of drivers, nowhere to go.
Can't confirm only the 2 meatball flags for the 2 drivers mentioned. No DQ flags this caution period. And leader at the top of caution, Paul Hill over Graves and Vroman. We'll see if anybody will pit here from this sequence or not. Kleinman is the lucky dog and is already trying to speed his way around the outside. And big for Kleinman because he had that penalty earlier in this stage.
Absolutely.
Now would be the 24th car on the lead lap once he gets the trigger.
Ah, it could be actually climbing here in the lucky dog spot. I don't know if he passed Gitter in the accident.
very least, it's going to be scored in front of him because you mentioned Gitter chanced the incident.
Yeah,
Now it's
absolutely.
scored in front.
That's a great point. Yeah. So Kleiman should get the free pass here. Leading to a restart with just over 10 to go.
So 4 different cars coming down pit road. And
More here, obviously, to repair the damage, too, on their cars from the wreck.
so one of the drivers I'm very curious about. We've spoken to him in the past. We haven't gotten the chance to speak to this rookie at all yet. Want to give it a spotlight this caution period to the driver who's making a season debut, who made an appearance in the Clash and has done well all weekend. Casey Graves, now with black flag for the start of the season. Casey, you've made your presence known. You're in the catbird seat starting in second in your biggest restart of the season so far. What's going through your mind?
I mean, I just gotta try to play the right lane here and hopefully get hooked up with one of my teammates behind me. We got 3 or 4 of them in the top 10, so I don't know. It's Daytona. Anything can happen. Just gotta try to get in the right position and hopefully can come away with a win.
How do you describe the way you've started out now with this series, especially now? Of course, we've talked about the transitions with the RHM machines to align with the black flag machines after originally with the PSS cars. You're a rookie for this series. What's it all been like from your perspective, where you're just running your first FLCC 500?
Yeah, it's taken a little bit to get used to. There's a lot of new guys that I haven't raced with, and the competition here is really tough compared to what I've run before. So, I mean, I'm really, really pleased to run as good as I have, even if I don't run good, don't get the finish today. I'm pleased with everything that's happened, and thankful for my teammates over at Black Flag for bringing me on and kind of taking me under their wing.
Well, we're coming up to the 1-to-go signal. Why don't you get back to your team?
All right, thank you.
Casey Graves taking some quick words with us here. As he said, taken under the wing, and now could potentially come away with a big win for the welcome party. Hill and Graves are on the front row. Vroman and Hall, followed by Basin and Anderson, Hoytsma and Brown, Williams and Komacheski, Tucker and Hutchinson amongst your first 12 cars or so here as we come up to a 12-lap dash.
Now, this is going to be a wild shootout to the end. And just the passes are going to get a lot more risky here. In the end of this one, a lot of bump drafting, risky bump drafting too at the same time.
So we know where the 95's headspace is. Do you think you can get something going at the bottom? Remember, there is one rule we haven't talked about yet. Yellow line's in effect here, except for one exception. Front straightaway, last lap. You can use that apron. That might be where you have to get the bottom line built up.
I think that's going to be the place to go to win this race, possibly below that yellow line. But when they come off at turn number 4, all bets are going to be off, basically. But there's going to be a lot more bump drafts, and I just feel like that's going to happen going into after this restart. More than we've seen. A lot of aggression is going to be happening. You got 22 drivers on the lead lap here, Justin, with 24 remaining on the track.
Version of near 50% here tonight. But for a lot of these drivers, the championship quest starts with survival tonight. Paul Hill, one of the championship 4 contenders last year, on the inside. The rookie and Graves on the outside. Green flag is out. 12 to go. Outside didn't go.
Yeah, bad restart for Casey Graves. He'll be able to cut down, though, in front of the 84 Basin. Dustin Hall leading the top. As I say that, Vroman kind of up top. You know, he loves the second group, looking for that lead. I think it's going to pay off for him.
And can he get himself clear as they get up to 5th gear? They got Anderson all over the bumper. They're one of the black flag machines yet again in the mix. Zipped away, coming to 11 laps to go. Hall got off center. That got nerve-wracking for a second with the push.
Very close call, no harm, no foul. But look at how tight everyone's going through the corners here. It's no room for error. 11 to go at the line.
Now here comes Graves. He's up to the top side. Can he get the assistance he needs to be able to control this front of the field? The 0-1 through Speed Weeks has been solid. Had to battle to get here. How big would this be for the start of his career in the FLCC? Clear for the lead again.
That'd be absolutely special. The high line is rolling and Vroman stays there. Hall cuts down low. Here comes Anderson. And look at the guy in 6th, Jeremy Brown, who we've yet to talk about in this race. He's got a chance to win this one. But Graves sideways off for 4. What a save. 10 to go in the FLCC 500.
10 to go. When Speed Week started in the FLCC, it was the team of True Speed that Casey Graves had the banner run underneath with. Now with the impressiveness he's had in Speed Weeks, he runs for one of the biggest conglomerates in the field. Those drivers look to try and find the way to the front, but the Conti cars are second on the bottom, middle line now second too, because Basin for Ryko moves up to take away that lead group for the top, for the middle line as they build up the run.
Bobby Anderson got taken out of the groove 3 wide and nobody wants to work with them. They'll stay 2 by 2 off of 4. 9 laps to go. Here comes Hill. Big door slam though from Casey Graves.
Had to do it though with this lane of the race. Gotta make sure that you get some clean blocks now. Does Hill fake him to the bottom? He does take him to the bottom. And here comes Basin. Basin gets blocked by Graves. Basin over the bumper. Looks like Graves getting the hardest out of anybody we've seen try to play Pied Piper today.
Graves is mirror driving for his life at this point. Hill has no momentum. The high side cooking. Roman to 3rd, Brown underneath, and it's Tucker rounding out the top 5 of the moment.
And right now, Graves is not taking the bait to go to the bottom. No one is. Basin with a tandem draft. Somebody's got to take the bottom eventually, but Graves knows the plan.
Yes, staying tight on that middle groove. Basin not going to look to the middle because he knows Graves' strategy, trying to fake him up top. That's risky, and Vroman able to help him out. It worked for Basin. Oh, look out, there they go.
Caution flag is out, Hill's around, and more DQs.
Stone, Harper, and Tucker all out of this race. This should give us here, Justin, a 4-lap shootout to the end.
Let's take a look. Started with a bad bump there and off center. Yeah, Hall got overlapped with the back bumper of Hill. Huge tough break for the 36, who was a contender throughout much of this race. Gets collected as he was the one just to the outside of the 26.
Yeah, give credit a lot. Man, a 36 with a huge, now he was DQ, that's right. Give credit though, regardless. Great for him. Paul Hill, tough break for him getting involved. Here's a look for the speed shot. Dustin Hall involved in that accident too. A great comeback for him throughout the 500. And mayhem down the super stretch.
Everybody now going to stretch their legs under the caution. Look from up top again.
Yeah, they'll stretch them while they can, because don't know if they'll be it for them. This has the chance to maybe be. Who knows? But this could be it here. It's going to get very aggressive to the end. Like I mentioned, there should be a 4-lap shootout.
And remember, when it comes to this field, unlimited green-white checkers, which essentially means 15. We shouldn't need that many. We do have more than enough time to be able to do that here tonight. But for this field itself, it's going to come down to can you survive to the white flag. If we get the white flag, it's a race to the checkered, remember. Next caution would trigger green, white checkers. Has Pearson, Coffee, a few of those in the back coming in.
If you think about it, just about 50-50. Went on to pit road, and I mean, it's not too bad of a play. But at this rate, you're just hoping for overtime to happen.
Dustin Hall was one of the drivers that came down, interestingly. But I believe he was one of those who also picked up some damage to the left front fender. Try and get the car as clean as possible to end here. But one of the drivers picked up by Ryko just a little while ago. He's been working with Dylan Hodgson, I think, on his box since Hodgson's DQ. Why don't we talk with one of the newest members of Ryko, Dylan? How's this for your team welcome? Great speed weeks and now a chance to win. How are you feeling?
Well, job's not done yet. Trying not to get any kind of emotion, just trying to lock in right here and make sure we get the job done so far. Lost, I think, both of my teammates in this race. I'm kind of out here on a hill of my own, hoping for the best.
How would you describe the team aspect so far, joining with Ken Byron's squad during the offseason here? 8 years of experience. Of course, getting yourself a college win as well this week on top of it.
Yeah, no, joining Ryko has been probably one of the smartest decisions I made on here. You know, not just because of the equipment, but the people on there and how much they have to offer in terms of knowledge. So so far it's just been a learning experience, and as I go on and on throughout the weeks, I get better and better, and I have nothing to say except thanks for them.
What's it going to take for you to bring the 84 home?
I mean, honestly, I gotta find someone I work well with up here. You know, I've been having trouble finding someone that wants to stick with me. So if I can find one guy to tandem with, it makes it a lot easier. But if not, we're gonna make this car wide.
See how this goes. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Dylan Basin. He's the control car. 4 to go when we get back going. He has a rookie in Graves. They're all rookies up in front, and I think that's taken off his rookie stripes from last year. So the top two are rookies in this series, Marty. This could get wild as they battle for their first career FLCC wins. Vroman looking to add to his 4 from last year in the 3rd spot.
Don't know what it's like to be in this situation right now, but going for what could be the biggest win of their iRacing career, possibly in a 500-mile, 200-lap race. And it's a 10-mile shootout to determine who wins it. 4 laps to go when we take the green.
So to reset, it's Basin and Graves, Vroman and Brown. 3 of those 4 are rookies. Hoytsma and Williams, Hutchinson and Anderson, Taylor and Marty are in your top 10. And of note, the back 2 out of that top 10 are amongst those who had more than minutes of damage repair. Last time they came down pit road a couple cautions ago. So now, this is the moment. You have to find your way to be able to hold off the pack. It's going to get exciting, Marty. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely will be exciting. It's going to be intense. Most aggressiveness that we've seen in this one. The sun continuing to set here at Daytona.
Here we go. Pace car is off. 4 laps to go for the FLCC 500. Green flag is out. Vroman has worked well with Basin tonight. Will he stick with them to help out Basin for a win or go for it on his own? Real estate's available up top side. And look at that cutoff. The 95 slams the door on Hoytsman's face. Vroman doesn't get the help from it now.
It's risky for the 95 at this point. Hoytsma wanted to win this one very badly, and Basin cuts off Vroman. Weitzman's going to get a run here down the super stretch. Low lines coming with Jason Taylor. Remember I mentioned earlier when Taylor dropped off before the end of stage 1 to play it patient? Right place, right time, coming to 3 to go.
Lucas Hoitzma has ran well tonight, 16 laps led for the defending series champion. During that season, 3 wins, 15 top 5s, 25 top 10s. He's up at the front. Now with less than 3 to go, Basin has Vroman willing to help him. Vroman just said on the radio he's overheating. He'll have to back off. He is not backing off yet.
You are not backing off with 3 laps to go. You're taking the risk that you can. It's an FLCC 500 on the line. You'll do what it takes even if the engine is cooking to the max. That's everybody right now at the moment down the super stretch. The car in front of you, unless you're in the front row, you're bump drafting them if you can. Ooh, that's tight for Taylor though.
Oh, it's tight for Hoitzma too. He blocks off Basin. Look who's in second. Ralph Hutchinson has found his way up to the front, coming to 2 laps to go. Now he gets blocked off. Teammates on the inside. Drivers who've worked well all night on the outside as they battle going into 1.
Have we talked about Hutchinson yet in this race? If not, very little.
No.
Unbelievable comeback he has made. Like I mentioned with Taylor in that 60. Right place, right time. As well as Sean O'Brien Jr. They want to win at the FLCC 500. 1.5 laps remaining, Justin.
Right now, the black flag machines are lined up on the inside. They try push ahead. Hoitzma blocks off the outside. Now, coming up to the white flag, this time by the FLCC 500, coming down to the final 2.5 miles. The defending champion on the outside. Now it's Hutchinson on the inside. White flag already out.
Low line does not have the momentum compared to the high side. They're lined up so much better. Hutchinson's going to get a drive in the corner. On the high side, loses some steam from a crash.
Outside, 3 wide, try to form up. It didn't work out. It's still 2x2 on the front. Cut to the outside for Graves. No one wants to move. Basin starting to overheat. Right now, the bumper getting crushed from the pushes from Taylor. Here comes Taylor to the outside. He looks to try and get his first win in the FLCC. Hutchinson inside. Taylor all the way to the wall. Here comes O'Brien. O'Brien, he tries to get the pole. Hutchinson gets turned. It's Jason S. Taylor who gets his win. It's the second win in the lineage of the FLCC for Taylor. His first in the FLCC proper, and the FLCC 500 goes to the 60.
Extremely hyped up. They were 3 wide. They were 4 wide. Hutchinson, though, tries to block the one of Hall, and that's all she wrote. Jason Taylor coming through with the biggest win of his iRacing career in the untied number 60.
Unbelievable. His last time he won in the lineage of these full distance series, 2022. One of those who kept Black Flag Motorsports alive for so many years, about a decade. I almost thought O'Brien Jr. was going to take that to try and break the longest drought in the history of the series, but it all came down to a wild lap, and that third line just demolished itself.
I was watching the one of Dustin Hall on the yellow line, as you were mentioning earlier. Now, this is what caused the high side to lose its steam. There's the DQ from the 07 of Jeremy Brown. And we had some other DQs as well. Ralph Hutchinson not making it to the start-finish line. The same for Alex Coffey. Unofficially, I have on my end 8th and 10th.
Yeah, a lot of contact at the very end. With Hutchinson sliding to the grass, you had to feel for him just inches for the line. But this is the lead group. 60 moves up, but watch what happens. Remember that blend line you were talking about that go into the line? 4 wide.
There's the block.
DQ just after the line too.
Yes.
Hill, Marty. Let's look at them in this group. DQs galore. Everybody disappears. Bye-bye, 26. What a finish here, Marty.
Absolutely. What a race that was, and we'll stand by to talk to the top three here in just a moment, but we've got official results.
Unofficial, keep in mind, with some of the drivers with the DQs at the end. Taylor, Hoytsma, 54 1,000 at the end. Jason S. Taylor gets his first win in FLCC proper. Second, Hoytsma. Third, O'Brien Jr. A team celebration all on the podium. Vroman and Basin get top fives. Graves finishes in sixth. Seventh went to Thomas Kovacheski, Dustin Hall in eighth, Patrick Gitter in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 in this one of the newcomers in Kluwan in 10th.
You got unofficially again, Bobby Anderson 11th, Neil Pearson in 12th, Jonathan Delaney 13th, Rich Kleiman in 14th. They were all on the lead lap. Now Ralph Hutchison did cross the line, but apparently was DQ'd before iRacing counted that 200th lap. He's 15th, Jeremy Brown 16th, Paul Hill 17th, Alex Coffey 18th, Stephen Williams 19th, and Tanner Marty rounds out the top 20.
Then you flip to the back half of the field. A lot of these cars DNF'd. Von Henschel finishes 2 laps down. Tucker 8 down with Harper and Stone. Then Gallimore 16 laps down with Hunter. Hunter reported he had too much damage. That's why he parked it. Hodgson was a DQ. Hastings, Murray, Isaacs, your top 30.
And the rest of the field, Sean Anderson, Derek Heitman, Kevin Zolciak, Matthew Wood, Matt DiCiani, Sean Conklin, Corey Moore, Cody Johnson, Johnny Avila, Devin Medeiros. A lot of fast cars that could have been favorites to win this one, all in that final quartile.
And what a race, to say the very least. What a finish. Jedi Taylor, for the first time in FLCC proper, and the second time in the lineage of the FLCC, the 60 gets a win. Jason, how does it feel to win the FLCC 500?
I am more than stoked. I'm shaking. I let out the biggest scream in the world. Lucas gave me like the best shot in the world. And then Sean just came up right by my side, and we were 1, 2, 3 at the end, and that's like the perfect, close to the perfect start for Black Flag Motorsports, baby. Let's go.
What was kind of the team conversation to set that up in the first place? You guys had the numbers early, and obviously hard to get the numbers there at the end.
We were coming to the restart, the last restart, and I noticed that we had Lucas, Ralph, me, and Sean all lined up with Dylan. Dylan was starting on the outside, so I think it might have been, or whoever was in first, but we had Froman too. And if they made moves, we were going to be able to push past them, I think. And then we got there and got Lucas out in front, and then we controlled the front 2 lines in the last 2 laps. And my engine was about to nuke. I was trying to get Ralph to jump up because he jumps up to Lucas. He probably gets pushed to the win there, and he didn't go, and I cleared, and I had to go, or I was going to nuke the field. So I jumped up and I got the shot of my life, and we won.
How would you describe the emotions as you're one of the couple people who stuck over the years with Black Flag, where it was a team that had a lot of big names in the 2010s, then seen a lot of transitions. The team stays alive in series such as this, and now gets itself its biggest win, you can argue, in the history of the Black Flag Motorsports organization.
Yeah. Let's be real, Justin. Shout out to some of the OGs like yourself, and Dylan Schmidt and Mappa and I'm forgetting his name right now, but I've been calling him top for like the last 2 years. You've got Stockwell. Yeah, Stockwell. I can't forget about him. Sean's been there. Dylan's been there the entire time. Crits. I'm sure you're familiar with both of them, and it feels really, really good to be so involved with this league and come out here and be able to show what persistence and resilience can do for you, and just some patience. We rebuilt this car the last half of the race. Like, I got caught up real bad. I had 8 minutes of damage, and we just worked it, and we rebuilt the car, got it out there into victory lane, and I'm so happy.
Who do you want to thank for getting the job done tonight to get yourself the FLCC 500?
Without the hard work of Casey Graves and Ralph Hutchinson and Bobby for putting the league together, and just everybody from the Black Flag Motorsport Shop, Steve-O and Neil, Logan Sheets calling the race with Brandon Pierce, calling the race from the box for us. It's just, we have an excellent team, and we have championship aspirations, and I think this is an excellent start to that season.
Well, Jedi, you get it done. Congratulations on winning your first race in the FLCC and your second in the history of the lineage of the series. Your first win in that whole pipeline of full-length races since 2022.
Yep. Love you too, Phil Pig.
Jason S. Taylor, emotions run high. A big win tonight for a team that's been around for a long time and is now looking to make a resurgence. Now, one of those that is built up that championship pedigree, Lucas Hoitzma, was the one who gave the shot. Marty Sakawa is with him.
Lucas, I know you had a very fast car tonight. I know you were one spot off the win that you wanted, but I have a very good feeling that Jason's going to buy you a beer after that one.
Absolutely. I've never heard a man that hyped up. He was ecstatic. I'm so happy for him. It was a long race with about 20 to go. I ripped one of my thumbnails clean off because of my wheel when I lost it on the bottom. So that hurt like hell for the rest of the race. Sorry. And wow, I cannot believe that. I thought I was going to wreck right up into the wall there in 4 when I got that shove from the 84. Somehow kept it going, got behind Jason, and we just cruised across the line. Big shove from Vroman and somebody else. I didn't even see who that was. So thanks to Vroman for getting behind us. And wow, what a race. That was some of the best Daytona racing I've seen in a long time, even with the wrecks. The amount of 3 wide and just hard pushing, and everybody was keeping it straight. I mean, super impressive. Just what a night. I mean, this is the way to kick off season right here.
Following up on that, the racing, very impressive. We had a consistent 2 and 3 wide racing. It was aggressive throughout most of the night. Heck, I'm looking at some of these stats here. We had 52 lead changes in this race, boatload of different leaders. Safe to say this was one of the best FLCC 500s in a while.
Without a doubt. I thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight, and top it off with a P2 finish. It's not the win, of course, but when you can get your teammate the win, and a guy who definitely deserves it, that's really good. I wish it could have been Ralph, because talk about somebody else who really deserves it. He's still looking for that first win, and he was so close. But still, that was an awesome night. And I just to top it off, just want to thank those guys, Ralph, Bobby, Neil, Jason, Sean, Delaney. I mean, everybody on the team, the guys up on the box. I can't even name everybody. We had so many people in chat tonight, but it was an awesome, awesome race. I also want to shout out my family for watching and everybody who puts this thing on. This is one heck of a league.
Well, Lucas, appreciate the time. Great job. All the best this season.
Thank you.
Lucas Hoitzma finishing runner-up and rounding out the podium. Sean O'Brien Jr. with a great third-place finish after starting all the way back in 39th. Sean O'Brien Jr. is with Justin.
Yes, indeed. And Sean, you almost broke the winless drought here tonight. I know you put the work into the database and had 128 races without a win coming in. What's the emotions like, though, as you're part of a Alliance 1, 2, 3 at Daytona?
Yeah, it's really hard to describe. Man, I want that bad. We've come close a lot of times. A lot. It's incredible, these play tracks, how many times I've come close. But man, am I happy for Jason. We've been best friends on this for, since 2018. JP, you're a black flag guy as well. And we've always had this synergy on plate tracks. I can't count how many times we've come here, either for the 500 or in the 400, when me and Jason, gets down to brass tack time, and we're up there pushing each other. We got robbed of one back in 22, but finally made it right. Finally got black flag one. I wish I could end that streak, but guess it wasn't in the cards. But still great race. Well, I was gonna say great race. I don't know about that. But great event. Shout out Bobby Anderson for putting this whole thing together. Shout out you guys in the booth. JP, I just rewatched the call. You had a hell of a call at the end. Yeah. 0 for 128. That's 0 for 129. But yeah, super happy for Jason.
Yeah, I was about to say, in your sake, you're bounced around a fair bit here tonight, too. Didn't get the chance to lead here this evening, but how were the emotions in terms of trying to work your way through what was a chaotic pack?
The only way to describe it is a roller coaster. I mean, I absolutely ate the wall in twice this race. I had combined like 8 minutes of damage on the car. I still had about 2.5 when we took the checkered flag, so maybe that kind of caught me at the end. But I always pride myself on just finishing the race. No matter how bad the car is, the only way I'm not finishing a race is if I get DQ'd or meatballed. And I thought about, that first time I ate it, I thought about just parking and saying, oh, well, this might be my one race for the year. Wasn't in the cards, but we kept at it, kept fixing it. And we were, what was the finish? Like a 10th off? So I'll take that.
So one of the things haven't touched upon too much tonight, there's another super speedway next week. How do you guys feel about your Atlanta program, Echo Park program, should say?
Well, me personally, this might be the one race I do all year, but I'll help the guys practice. I mean, John won it last year. John's me and John are statistically two of the best plate drivers, so just have that experience. Jason's obviously hot. Lucas is the champion. Ralph almost won it tonight. Bobby's a dog. The Aussies are dogs. And, we just have, even though we have all these new guys, Casey Graves, shout out, we just instantly have this chemistry, and we're able to strategize, able to get on the same page. So, yeah, look out for the Black Flag Alliance next week.
Who else you want to give a shout out to after this one tonight, Sean?
Shout out Ralph Hutchinson. He's the main builder. Lucas Hoitzma. Logan Sheets and Brandon Pierce on the box, helping us strategize throughout this race. John Delaney, he was helping me bridge some gaps when my car was killed. The Aussies, Casey, and most importantly, Jason S. Taylor. He's the only reason I'm in this league. He's the one who said, because, back in 2021 when I joined it, and I was like, I don't know, man, full-length races, that's a lot. But he's like, dude, it's so much fun. And 5 years later, it's still the best league, in my opinion, on the service. It's better than Coke Series. It's better than any other hosted league. This is the best league in iRacing.
Well, congratulations once again on the run tonight here, Sean.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
Sean O'Brien Jr. completes a 1, 2, 3 for the organization. What a night, to say the very least. Like, think the top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage for Maconi Entertainment. At the end of the night, only one driver could win a 500-mile race like this. And in the end, it's Jason S. Taylor who's able to survive the gauntlet and get his first win in the FLCC, and one of the biggest wins in the history of Black Flag Motorsports. Now, the attention turns to Echo Park Speedway. That race will take place in a week's time, where we go racing from Hampton, Georgia. That coverage will start once again approximately 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that here on Maconi Entertainment. But it's time to say goodbye for tonight's coverage here from Daytona Beach, Florida. For my co-announcer tonight, Marty Sakawa, for our producer, Howie Burrows, I'm Justin Prince, saying thank you once more for everyone who's tuned in tonight. Be sure to also follow Maconi Entertainment on all social media platforms to keep up with the next races. It's time to say goodnight. We'd like to thank you once again for watching the FLCC and its 500-miler from Daytona. We'll see you next time from Georgia.